Peace, friends. I'm Tom Arthur, pastor of Sycamore Creek Church in Lansing, Michigan, and you're watching Our Daily Shelter. Amidst COVID-19, we are all sheltering in place, resulting in new stresses in our lives, but also new opportunities. This daily-ish live interactive video podcast is here to help you not only shelter in place, but shelter in God's grace. To find God's grace in your home and the practical situations we all find ourselves in each day these days. Or as Psalm 91 verse 1 puts it, those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. In each episode of this video podcast, we get to know and learn from an expert in one area of stress we all know too well. We cut right to the chase. What's the one big thing we need to know or do to shelter in God's grace? You can join in the live Q&A by posting a question in the comments or by joining us on our live Zoom webinar at sycamorecreekchurch.org/ODS. That's Our Daily Shelter. And if you're watching on Facebook, would you share this video right now so that others can join in the conversation too and find a little bit of God's grace for today? Let's shelter in God's grace together right now. When was the last time you laughed really hard? And when was the last time you cried really hard? It's likely that you've cried harder and maybe laughed harder in the past couple of weeks. Amidst COVID-19 and sheltering in place, we found a lot to be stressed about. But for the eyes of a comedian, there's also a lot to laugh about. Laughter can be a means of God's grace or a way of remembering that in the end, God wins. So let's laugh when we can. Right now. Hey, I'm really pleased today to have with us a special guest comedian, Ana Hattey, to help us laugh a little bit today. Ana works at a credit union, but has a past life as a stand-up comedian. And after coming back to church and following Jesus, I learned that she used to do comedy, but gave it up because it wasn't very holy, she told me. So I wondered what a little less unholy comedy might look like, and she gave it a try. And it turns out, holy or unholy, she's pretty funny. So because I asked her to write some more stand-up for us, she agreed. So friends, give it up for Ana Hattey.
Yeah!
Oh yeah, here we go.
Tom kind of made me. So yay. Just kidding. So yeah, guys, I used to be an everyday grocery shopper. I used to go to the store like every single day. So I'm really kind of struggling over here. And I think it's super nice that some people are going to the store to buy groceries for the elderly, for their parents, for their grandparents. I think it's super cool that there are some services like Instacart and Shipt. But here's the thing. Do you know how hard it is to be a Latina during these times? Do you know how hard it would be to ask some person, like we eat some foods that white people have never heard about in their lives, okay? So imagine asking some of you to go and pick me up a plátano maduro. Or some hominy. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to work. Get out of here with that hard-ass avocado. I'm not having it. It's not good. Have you guys
What was that
noticed?
first word you used?
Plátano maduro. It's a plantain.
Okay.
For you all folks.
Thanks for
that don't know.
Thanks for bending down to my whiteness for that.
Yeah. I'm used to it. So have you guys noticed how Tom and Sarah are like throwing out a lot of innuendo lately? Like, yeah, Tom was talking about lust, been streaming from their pastoral bedroom. Sarah was talking about some naughty picture taken during date night. Isn't it cute how they're so in love? Isn't it just adorable?
I feel like something bad's about ready to happen.
No, it's not adorable. It's disgusting. It's like finding out your parents are still doing it. Stop. Immediately. So, in all seriousness, though, I've been trying to just come up with creative ways of pretty much just stop thinking about Tom and Sarah doing it. It's really freaking me out more than the imminent apocalypse that we're all living in. But no, seriously, I'm trying to figure out ways to not be bored during the lockdown, stay positive, stay active. Because, I hear that killing your spouse is not really an option. No, it's not. It's not. And I mean, if you did that, then the lockdown would be even longer, like possibly for life. So not a good idea. Not really a good solution. And honestly, I'm not really all that bored during lockdown. I'm still working from home. I'm going to school online. So honestly, I wish I was bored. I'm just really tired. Nothing has really changed for me except, having to eat hard avocados and bread and butter pickles. What the hell is bread and butter pickles?
I love bread and butter pickles.
White American folks eat some weird things. It doesn't taste like bread. It doesn't taste like butter. And it most certainly does not taste like pickles. It's gross. So, about overeating. Who else has been overeating during this lockdown?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I feel really bad for skinny people, though, because this is going to hit them really hard when it's over.
Oh,
They're
yeah?
going to come out of the lockdown looking completely different. None of their jeans are going to fit. And I'm going to be over here like, hey, I was fat before this happened. I've been training for this for years. Actually, before all of this happened, I was trying to eat healthier, eat less. I was doing really good. And then all of this happened, and I was like, you know what? I just think the universe is trying to tell me that I'm just meant to be fat. And, I'm not one to just want to contradict God's plan. I'm over here doing God's work.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep doing me, Speaking of God's work, I know many of you have children at home right now. And honestly, that's got to be really, really hard. I can't even imagine. I'll tell you what, if there was ever a good time to be infertile, this sure is it.
This is it.
Hashtag blessed. But no, seriously, I can't even imagine having to get to know your kids that well. They're not very interesting in general. I mean, like, they just don't really have a lot of stories to tell. And imagine right now that they're not even going to school. Like, what are they even going to talk about? And, I want to prepare you, brace yourselves, because it's only a matter of time before they start asking you where babies come from.
Uh-oh.
And after you explain it, they too will have to be scarred forever.
Forever.
At the thought of Tom and Sarah doing it.
Sarah's watching online right now. She's got a whole bunch of commentary.
And that's it. That's all I got. That's my time.
Oh. You had to bookend that with, begin it with my sex life and end it with my sex life.
I mean, that's just kind of how my life is going right now. That's all there is to it.
You are definitely making me laugh. This is good quarantine therapy right now. I was really surprised when Sarah made some comment about that. Like, she's usually like exceedingly modest and not wanting to like ever like come across as any have anyone think about her having sex. And then she posts on Facebook something about, I don't know, maybe there was like some quarantine insanity that went through her brain at that moment.
Maybe you're just not letting her have enough sleep. And that, again, gross. So let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Jeremy, I don't know how I'm going to get through this interview with Ana. It's
impossible.
It's going to be impossible.
I'll behave.
This is like when we have our preaching mentor group, and you and Kay and Dale and John just get going.
Yeah.
We're just a very imaginative bunch. Like,
I'm like trying to get something accomplished. The four of you will not let me like be serious at all. So, well, so when I asked you to write some new stuff, you weren't in a very funny mood. So what was it like to write some comedy right now?
It was hard, mostly because I guess I was trying to pressure myself to not write about the virus and not write about quarantine, because I was like, I want people to not think about it for a minute, to just be on a completely different mindset. But then it was really hard because that was really all there was.
Yeah.
So when
That's
I
all there
talked,
is in all of our lives
yeah,
right now. I mean, there's nothing else.
right. So when I talked to you, you said, no, but that's okay. Like it can totally be about the lockdown and all of that. I was like, I mean, okay, sure, whatever. So I just kind of went in with that mindset of like, it's okay um, to talk about it. I guess another part that made it a little bit difficult was like, I don't want to make light of it. It is a very difficult time for a lot of people who've lost loved ones, who've lost their jobs, their livelihood, and I didn't want to disrespect the seriousness of the situation by making light of it.
Yeah.
So that was another sort of angle of why it was difficult to write right now, but
It feels a
we
little
needed
bit
the
to
laugh.
me
So
like Halloween. Like at Halloween, we laugh at death. Like we dress up as dead things.
sure.
And I think it's a way of remembering our mortality, and sort of laughing at it, at least at its best. Um, I saw the other day on Facebook that you do like costume makeup as well, or I'm not. Is that the right word? Costume makeup? Is that,
I mean, I don't know. I call it special effects sometimes, but I feel like that
yeah.
sounds like super fancy and it's like totally not, but
Well, you did like a meeting, was it like a work meeting at your credit union in a like a face?
yeah, so I kept reading about this office video conference where the boss turned herself accidentally into a potato. I think it was like Google Meetings or something. I don't remember what the platform was, but she touched some setting and it caused for her image in the meeting to be like a potato with lips talking. And you could see her employees were like, they just were trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
And so we've been working from home and I've been like teasing my boss and being like, hey, turn yourself into a potato. It'd be hilarious. And she's like, well, I don't know how to do it. And I don't think we can do it. And no. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Well, when I have a meeting with my team, I'm just going to try to do something fun for them. Again, we don't use Google Meetings, so I couldn't turn myself into a potato, but I sent my team members an email and I asked them to reply with like their favorite fictional character. Um, and actually the first one that I thought was doable was Baby Yoda, and I was really excited because Baby Yoda. But I tried to do it and I looked like a frog, so it didn't work.
Yoda won.
And then another one sent me the cat from Alice in Wonderland is what I ended up doing. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this one. And I did, and it turned out pretty good. And they thought it was really funny, and I thought it was really thoughtful that I did that for the meeting. So yeah, they had fun. I had fun.
That's
It was
cool.
really hard to take it off, but it
Yeah.
was worth it.
You definitely do. Like, I mean, when we do our costume party at Church in a Pub, you were rocking it with the facial costume. So, the FX. So where, maybe it's in comedy, but maybe it's somewhere else. Where have you been experiencing, or where have you experienced an unexpected moment of God's grace? And I don't like, I don't want to prejudge your answer here, but I mean, you did a little bit in there about your own infertility, which has been a really painful thing for you. I mean, even when you preached and shared about that story, you kind of got choked up and teared up, but here you are laughing about it. I don't know if that's been to laugh about it as a means of grace, or if there's something else you want to talk about.
Sure. Well, yes, I have been grateful not to have the additional stress of having to deal with entertain my kids or having to teach them, do online school with them. Because like I said on the bed, it would be really, really difficult. Like I said, I'm still working from home, and I feel like that would be really hard to accomplish. Um, so I don't have that,
It
I don't
is.
have to worry about that. So yeah, I bet.
Jeremy and I, can I get a witness, Jeremy?
Don't worry, I'll ask Sarah.
Yeah. Ask Kristen too. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
But
Jeremy and I just sit in our other rooms and ignore the kids and make our wives
yeah,
take care of them.
figured. But another way just has been everyone at work kind of getting together and working really hard. Seeing that has been really good. It's felt really good to have the support from up and down, with everyone at work helping out and being available and being willing to do anything to help the team and to help our members of the community. So it's been really good to see that. And then another thing that's been really cool is that I have 2 cats, but one of them has always been a little bit different. She's very skittish, and she's always been like really scared and not very cuddly and not very sociable. And since we've been home every day, she's been definitely coming out of her shell a lot. And I know that
Wow.
that sounds silly, but it's really cute that she's a lot more opened up and kind of taking to us a little more. So,
That's perfect.
oh, I
Oh,
know.
dear. Jeremy, don't
He's
even
right
try to be
here.
funny with Anna in the room. I mean, it's just a pale white endeavor out of our mouths. So, friends, you can post some comments or some Q&A in the comment section on Facebook or in the Q&A here in Zoom. And our executive producer, Jeremy, is following those discussions, and he's going to bring them to Anna in a moment. So, Anna, tell us just a little bit in general about your process of writing comedy or writing jokes, quarantine or unquarantined.
Yeah. So it's usually just about my life. So just things that I have gone through or are going through or have thought about. I usually just kind of write it as it first comes to mind. And then I kind of reread it and tweak it to make it funnier or to change the wording a little bit. But it's usually about, like I said, just my life. And I kind of hope that is relatable, because with it being like about me, I don't know if many other people feel the same way or not, but it usually happens that some people do find it relatable. So that's cool. It's not really, there's not like a super technical or professional way that I go about it. I just kind of sit there and write whatever the experience is that I find has potential to be funny. And then a lot of times it doesn't, and I can't make it work. And then I just completely get rid of it. But for the most part, just write whatever situation it is that I'm in and kind of tweak it until it's funny and it kind of has like the setup and the punchline, and kind of go from there. I run through it in my head a lot just to see how it sounds. And then, like I said, I just kind of tweak it from there.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jeremy, does anybody have some questions that they want to ask Anna?
Well, Anna, first of all, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm the back of my head hurt from laughing there at that opening, the opening few lines. And I wanted to tell you that I appreciate how you can laugh at yourself. And I think that's a healthy, no matter what vocation you're in or what you do, I think it's really important to be able to laugh at yourself and to not take things so seriously all the time. So thanks for setting an example for all of us to see. There isn't many questions that have been coming in because I just think we're thoroughly entertained. But I can ask you, when was it that you decided and knew that you had a talent to share a joke, and who was your inspiration? Which comedians did you kind of follow or pay attention to as you were growing up?
Sure. Well, it wasn't much growing up. Like I've always been like what my friends would consider funny, I guess. But it wasn't so much in, again, like a process type of way. It was more like in conversation. And a lot of it is that I'm like really, really honest and I have no filter. So a lot of times I just said something like completely
No
off the wall.
filter. Yeah.
And then people will be like, oh my God, you're hilarious. And I'm like, I know. But it wasn't so much like, this is what I want to do for a living or anything. Then a few years ago, I just started, I guess maybe like at some point when Netflix got really popular, I started watching specials on Netflix, and some of them were really good and really funny, and some of them were like, this is not even that funny. I can probably do better. Sure. And then I started going to a few comedy shows in the area, and then just kind of started asking questions like, hey, how do I get into this? And a former coworker at a previous job knew the host of an open mic at the Green Door in Lansing that was happening before on Sunday nights at that time. And then he kind of told him about me. I called him and I was like, hey, my friend told me that, to call you, and I would like to know what I need to do to be on the open mic. And then he gave me a date that I would go up for the first time, and it was like a month out or something like that. And my typical impatient fashion, I was like, I want to go up now. So he was like, well, we don't have anything earlier, so come in, and if someone doesn't show up, you can go up. And sure enough, I went like that same Sunday, and somebody didn't show up, and he was like, okay, you're up. And I was like, oh my God. So I just did it. And then I did it for like 2 years, just kind of going around to different open mics in the area, until I just didn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I'm glad we're finding a new stage and mic for you, and that kind of that edge of what's. I think comedy is always kind of right up against the edge of what's appropriate versus what's funny, and you've done a great job of finding that edge in the church, and then I've just had such a joy working with you, learning how to preach and so on. So, Ana, how can people keep up with you if they would like to keep up with you a little bit more after this?
Sure. Well, I am on Facebook and on Instagram. We've said a couple of times, I don't really do comedy outside of the church, so I don't have a specific comedy page. My personal Facebook, you can just find me on Jeremy or Tom's friends list, first and last name Ana Hattey. And I also have a couple of pages for my makeup. So I have on Facebook is Matt Hatter Artistry, and then on Instagram is matthatter.artistry. For my makeup pages, I don't really post anything funny there other than my face, but you are welcome to follow those if you would like, or just my personal Facebook as well.
That's great. So, and I can assure you, friends, that she's an amazing makeup artist, both costume makeup and otherwise. How can our viewers pray for you right now, Ana?
Just the same as for everyone else, just patience and trust and faith in God that everything is going to work out the way that it should. To just get that strength to kind of keep pushing forward and trusting God.
Yeah. All right, friends, join me in praying for Ana. God, we thank you for Ana, for the time that she's made us laugh here today, to laugh hard about the situation we find ourselves in. Thank you for the grace of that. And we do pray as she navigates her own stresses at home for just a deep sense of trust that she would have, that you are, that your arms are wrapped around our world, that your arms are wrapped around her and her loved ones. Bless her with continued laughter and humor and the continuance of helping us laugh. In the name of Jesus and in the power of your Spirit, and all who agreed said, Amen. Friends, join me in giving Ana some love in the comments section and thanking God for her. There are a couple of things that I want you to be aware of that are coming up. Next week, we're wrapping up the first season of Our Daily Shelter, and then we're going to take a week or two off and come back with season 2. Drop us an email or tell us what topics you'd like to see covered in season 2. You can drop me an email at tom@sycamore-creek-church.org. Jeremy, maybe you could put that in the comments section, tom@sycamore-creek-church.org. Or you can make some suggestions right now in the comments section if you would like to. And Jeremy, if you'll remember to save that chat, or help me remember to save that chat before we finish this. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up season 1 alongside our current series, Christianity and World Religions, by interviewing representatives from each of the major world religions, talking about how their religion understands suffering or evil amidst COVID-19. So on Monday, we have special guest with us, Adam Al-Ansari, and he teaches classes at the local Islamic Center of East Lansing, as well as is kind of a Muslim apologist in the area. And we've had most of these guests with us in a small group in the past, and Adam is a great representative to speak to us about Islam. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking about Hinduism. On Wednesday, Buddhism. Thursday, I'm working on Judaism. I haven't quite nailed that down yet, but I'm looking for someone. If you happen to have a lead on somebody who'd be willing to talk to us, drop me a note. And on Saturday, I'm very excited to have my early Christian history professor from Duke joining us, Dr. J. Warren Smith. And he's going to talk about how the early church responded to plagues in the day and suffering and evil, which, just to remind you, like, this isn't the first time or nor will it be the last time that Christians and the world experience something like this. Right now, whatever religion you are, we all need to connect with something that's bigger than ourselves. Sycamore Creek has been busy building online environments where you can find daily connection points with God and others. So stay connected with us right now through our digital connection card. You can submit prayer requests there. You can sign up. You'll be signed up automatically for our email list, so you'll know everything that we have going on. You can get on our text announcements. Don't shelter alone. Connect with others and God at Sycamore Creek. Friends, you've been watching Our Daily Shelter, a daily-ish live interactive video podcast and ministry of Sycamore Creek Church in Lansing, Michigan. In this time of sheltering in place, we think it's important to connect with the community. So find community every Sunday at 1 p.m. in a live interactive worship event at sycamore-creek-church.org/slworship. That stands for South Lansing Worship. Or every Monday night in a church-wide video chat open to everyone at sycamore-creek-church.org/allchat. You can connect with us, and we can connect with you through our digital connection card found at sycamore-creek-church.org/connect. Submit prayer requests here on this topic, or really any topic, or by email at prayers@sycamore-creek-church.org. We've got a team of people who are praying for you daily. Download and check out our app by searching for SCCMI in your app store, and you'll find lots of great resources there, including past and current sermons. You can also join the mission of Sycamore Creek by giving financially through the app or at our website, sycamore-creek-church.org. Your generosity helps make resources like Our Daily Shelter available for free. Take a moment and like and follow us on Facebook, and share this video with your friends so they can find daily shelter in God's grace too. You may be sheltering in place, but we're here to help you shelter in God's grace. Make your home a shelter of the Most High.